pesawat hip-hop di air. Sudah berumur 25 tahun.
Family car. In fact, you had a pilot's license before a driver's license, yes?
Yes, I was actually raised out in western Alaska along the Yukon River. I've been piloting these aircraft since I was a teenager. My dad was a pilot instructor. We also had sled dogs out on the Yukon for transportation. Tried my hand at the Iditarod race in 1980. And in 91, I moved to Fairbank to became aircraft mechanic, and now I work on these aircraft full-time when I'm not flying them.
Aircraft are tremendously popular around here. I think JR mentioned it's called the Piper Super Cub. What is it about the Super Cub that the bush pilots of Alaska like so much?
Well, the Piper Super Cub's design is actually the 1930s and 40s technology, so it's a very lightweight, versatile aircraft. It makes it real good for getting in and out of the remote area lakes and rivers when you see it here equipped on floats. It also, in the summer, will go to wheels. We will operate them off sandbars and ridge tops. In the winter months, we'll put skis for ice and snow. So it's just a real good small aircraft for supplying to remote areas where there's no runways available.
We're going to talk about aviation first for a couple of reasons. One will be the float plane that you'll see ahead of us in a little while, who's a friend of ours that we'll meet. And over and above that, 82% of our population is reliant on aircraft at least some point during the year. You look over to our left there, you see that big patch of grass and gravel up on shore? Looks like somebody maybe didn't fertilize a few spots in their big yard. Well, that actually isn't a lawn, it's a runway. That's Fouts Field over there. 900 feet long and not very busy, as you can see on the monitor. This, again, as Ryan said, is how we're going to use these screens to make sure you always have a look at what's going on. Plus, look what happens when we roll time back 25 years on the television, and you'll see what it used to look like. Dozens of float planes tied up around the bend. That's a picture there of a Super Cub leaving that field in just 150 to 200 feet is all. See how the tail is elevated? Until about 40 miles an hour, then bump it off the ground, then kicks the nose up, away they go from that very field. And then when you come the other way, you've got those nice big squishy tires. They call them bush wheels or tundra tires. Only have about 6 or 7 pounds of pressure. So they roll very smoothly over rocks and logs, and they don't get torn off the bottom. But our pilots like to use rivers for runways too. And our friend Steve Knatzer is about to take off along the left side of the vessel in a 1951 Piper Super Cub. Which reminds me, you don't have to get married to that seat you picked out. You're welcome to move about. While we're underway, just be aware if you're standing at some point, you could be blocking somebody's view of the monitor or out the window. So just
memasuki kapal. Ini antrenya panjang sekali. Ambil tempat duduk dekat jendela biar pemandangannya full. Ini tamu-tamu kapal pesiar ya yang kesini. Ada 2 kapal pesiar yang saya tanya. Ada Holland American Line dan Sea Francis sini semua.
Tiketnya kapal ini, nah bisa jam 1. Nah, jam 2 ini berangkat, fullnya setengah 2.
Makannya jam 1. Menangkap salmon. Itu di tengah kincir itu ada jaring. Jadi salmonnya dipakai ikan dendeng lah, dendeng salmon. Salmon nanti masuk ke perangkap itu.
My dad, he owns a fish wheel, but it's down along the Tenaga. And as you saw, the fish wheel is an efficient fish catching machine that will provide enough salmon for the families and the dogs during the winter months. On shore, you'll find some canvas wall tents, and those will be staying during fish camp. And then right next to me are some air drying racks. This is where we hang the salmon. smokehouse. And the smokehouse is a large structure you see right behind me. And then when the salmon is done smoking, it would be put into the cache. And the cache is that structure on stilts. And then back over here between the canvas wall tents are our dog boxes. We would always bring our dogs to fish camp so it can act as a natural alarm system just in case any large game animals came into our fish camp.
You know, like bears trying to steal all of this. You don't want to do all that work and then have somebody rob you. So, and speaking of that work, let's go back now to your cutting table. What was this you showed us when we came by before?
So like I said before, this is a chum salmon. In the interior of Alaska, we get 3 types of salmon. We get 1 run from each the king and the silver, and then we get 2 runs from the chum. But the chum is our lesser quality salmon, and they run twice a year. We would feed these to the dogs. And right now, I've started the basic dog food cut. I remove the head from the body, and then I separate the 2 fillets from the backbone, keeping it connected at the tail so it can be easy to hang out on the air drying racks. And if there's any meat left on this backbone, we will give these to one of our dogs in fish camp.
Villages are located along the Yukon River. I just finished my 2nd year at the University of Alaska Fairbanks, where I'm studying to become a children's social worker. But we are now in the Tenaga Valley, the heart of the Athabascan Indian country, where today, Cecily and I will be sharing with you how the Athabascans skillfully survived in this environment and how they adapted to the Western culture in the past century. We're going to have 3 short stops today. I just ask that you please be sure to stay with the group. We are on a rotating schedule with 2 other groups here.